All right, welcome in, everybody. Great to see all of you on our DraftKings platforms or on Twitch, YouTube. We are also live on Twitter via the DK Nation DK Live page. Brendan Glasheen along for the ride. Matt Lamarca, Geoff Ulrich. We'll talk some football, react to last night a little bit, even though it wasn't much of a contest in Atlanta last night. We will discuss games coming up this week. Lots of injury news, COVID news coming in as well in the NFL. And speaking of injuries, the NBA is just cluttered with injuries tonight. We can get an NHL thought from Geoff before lock this evening. Fellas, what do we say? We start Lamarca. Right when we open the Zoom, Lamarca's got thoughts, and we don't know what they are, Geoff.
Uh-oh.
He's fired up about the Patriots. Something about the Patriots.
Let him out the floor. Let him out the floor. I'll just sit back.
Yeah, same. I mean, it might not be about the Patriots. Maybe it's about like Patriots fans and backers.
I don't care what it's about. It's Matt.
Go,
He's got a good take. Probably a good take.
What is it, Lamarca?
Go ahead.
Go.
So, first of all, hello, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be working with you this evening instead of the usual, cronies that they throw at me. I really think the Mac Jones love has gotten just ridiculously out of hand.
Oh no.
The guy's a fine player. He did nothing yesterday that I don't think 35 different quarterbacks in this league could have done. Every throw is to a wide open guy. And I give the Patriots credit for that. They have a great system. They do really good things. I complained about Tom Brady doing it for 20 years. Now I'm complaining about Mac Jones. How does every screen go for 10 yards? How does every guy get so wide open down the field? It makes no sense to me, but it's where we're at. What really grinds my gears is that we have Ja'Marr Chase putting together an amazing rookie season, a really, really good rookie season. And now this Mac Jones clown comes out of nowhere, and he's probably gonna win the Rookie of the Year just by virtue of the fact that he plays for the Patriots. And I hate it. I gotta say, I hate it. Call me a hater. I am a hater. I hate the Patriots, and this Mac Jones is now the new ire of my Patriots hating.
Oh, so are you saying that like every Patriots quarterback is a system quarterback?
Interesting. What happened with Cam Newton last year, Lamarca? What happened there?
He played really well until he got hurt.
Cam Newton did?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Receivers were open last year. So wait a minute.
It wasn't
about
Cam
the weapons
Newton's
getting
defense didn't do what this Patriots defense did last night to the Falcons. Because that's the real talking point, right? The Patriots defense is very, very good. And their running game is good. And they will win games based on those two factors. All they're going to need is a quarterback to come out and take what the defense gives them. And you know what? Maybe that is a little bit more difficult than I'm making it sound, right? Like Mac Jones, for sure, he is doing what's asked of him. And that's really all that you can ask of a quarterback, right? Similar to like a Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee.
So before Glash gets on his Patriots horse and, breaks out, and I don't know what he's going to do, but Lamarca's right. Like but Mac Jones definitely should get credit. He's playing well, but when it comes to when this is really about the offensive rookie of the year, and when it comes to that, there's not a chance in anything that Ja'Marr Chase should be not the favorite against anyone right now. He is putting together an absolutely insane year. What's he averaging? Still over 20 yards a catch? Like that's the instant. We're over halfway through the season. This isn't like a 2-game spike. This is every week. Ja'Marr Chase is going out and posting, just like legitimately dunking on every team in the league. It's insane what he's done so far as a rookie. It's even smashing what Justin Jefferson did last year. And Justin Jefferson, he lost to Herbert, but Herbert had a pretty much like an almost record-setting year himself. So that you get more of. This doesn't make sense. Jones is not putting up anywhere near Herbert's level of production. And Chase is doing better than Jefferson. These odds, at the very least, should be flipped. Regardless of the Patriots stuff, whatever. When it comes to the Rookie of the Year, I mean, it's bang on. It's just a weird thing to even look at.
storyline award, just like the MVP.
It's absolutely. And I tell people this all the time. Don't bet players other than quarterbacks in things like this. Don't bet them for rookie of the year. Don't bet running backs or wide receivers in MVP. Just don't do it because it won't happen. And it's probably not going to happen here unless
Geoff, we had this same exact conversation before the season started. Trevor Lawrence was the favorite at plus 400. Mac Jones was tied, I think, with Justin Fields at plus 600. If I remember correctly, you were kind of into the idea of Fields because we both agreed you didn't have to start the season to win this award. Justin Herbert proved that with Tyrod Taylor being injured. Herbert comes in, does well in spite of a horrible offensive line, horrible head coach, pretty good weapons. But in spite of all that, Justin Herbert had a great season last year. And folks saw the writing on the wall. They saw the tape and figured, all right, this guy can play, put up the numbers. Lamarca, to your point, 3 of the last 5 winners have been quarterbacks. 2 of those players were running backs. I don't disagree with you, but the national chatter, Lamarca, trust me when I say this, the national chatter about the Patriots is worse than what it is locally. Like locally, folks are like, pump the brakes. The kid is doing what he's supposed to do. Nationally, they're all over this guy.
I listened to Troy Aikman last night crown Mac Jones the Patriots starter for the next 15 to 18 years.
Yeah. Well, they hope that, but
sure.
Yeah.
They hope that.
Yep. I'm with you. I don't disagree with you. I'm not surprised. Are you surprised he's the favorite? You're not.
I guess not when you talk about it being a narrative award.
It is.
Like, all I can say is that if I had a vote, and again, I fully admit my Patriots bias, but like, I don't think that Mac Jones is having a great rookie season.
Agreed.
He's winning games, but it's not like the Patriots are winning games because
of him. Right.
So for me, like, I'm still getting some Jamar Chase rookie of the year futures. I still think, Mac Jones, we'll talk about the Patriots schedule coming up. Congratulations on beating the Falcons last night. Congratulations on beating the Jets. Things are about to get a little bit tougher here for the Patriots.
Okay, agreed. Say they lose last night. He did exactly what we would ask of any good team. Forget the quarterback for a second. Short week, on the road, they got out of there with the win. Sportsbook's going to make the adjustment as is. They're 7-4. They won 7 games last year. That's the narrative. They won 7 games last year. It was the first year without Tom Brady. Cam Newton was god-awful. They drafted quarterback 15th overall. He's going to be given credit that he probably doesn't deserve.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you. I think you're right too.
Thank you.
I'm not overly shocked that this is happening. It's kind of a travesty that Jamar Chase, and like, I don't even know I don't care what kind of person he is or whatever. I'm just saying it's a travesty that his on-field performance is getting overlooked because of it. Because like the Bengals are having a good year too. I mean, this is a team that nobody picked to be in the playoff race, and now they are. So, like, why isn't that getting credit? I don't know.
Geoff,
I'm not shocked it's happening, but it sucks that it is happening.
We talked about this on Monday. The Raiders, with all that's going on there, all the noise surrounding the Raiders, Bengals might come out of a bye week, and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase light it up, and we've got ourselves a race.
And it's a good segue. I mean, that's one of the things I'm expecting to happen this week. I do think Jamar Chase and the Bengals are going to light it up. I like that. I like the Bengals in that game. Mm-hmm. I like everything about the Bengals. I think they're good DFS too. Just put Burrow and Mixon and Chase in there. Get them all.
Okay, we'll look at some of the salaries here for the Cincinnati Bengals. Pardon me. There we go. So Chase is at 7,200. Joe Burrow is at 6,600. That was the sweet spot, I feel like, in DFS for Joe Burrow. You get him in that 6K range where he's being a little overlooked. Not the same as some other great quarterbacks on this slate. Not a bad call. I kind of like it. Bengals coming out of the bye week. They want to prove they're for real. I think Burrow's the right guy.
I got to disagree here, gentlemen.
Okay.
Not necessarily with the fact that the Bengals might have a good offensive game. Like, that's certainly on the table. But I think that this line is a little bit disrespectful to the Las Vegas Raiders here. Did they get steamrolled by the Chiefs? Yes, they did. There's really no shame in that, though. The Chiefs are a good football team. I know they haven't played their best at the times this year, but that was one of their best games of the season. Patrick Mahomes just taking what the defense gave them. You know, they played really well. I think this is a great bounce back spot for the Raiders. I'm not convinced that the Bengals are a better football team than the Raiders, and yet the Bengals are road favorites in this spot. So I actually really like the Raiders as a bet this week.
All right.
Okay.
We are on completely different sides. I don't like to be on different sides of Maddie, but I got to say, Matt, this is the team, the Raiders, under 2 sacks per game over their last 3 games. The yards per attempt is up in the secondary. Casey Hayward can't cover all 3 of the receivers, man. I don't know. I've respected the Bengals, and their defense has gone down a little bit too, but off a bye, I just don't think. I think everything is going south in Raiderville right now. Like this, I think there's just too much going on with the coach and Ruggs.
I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. Yeah. And again, that Chiefs loss was really bad. People are going to point to the fact that they lost to the Giants the week before too, but that loss to me was more fluky. They outgained the Giants by more than 150 yards. They just lost the turnover battle. And you can't really do that when you're playing on the road. So again, like I just like the number here. I think that it's a valuable number. If you look at like DVOA, all that stuff, thinks the Raiders are better than the Bengals. Maybe the Bengals maybe the Raiders have gotten worse as the season has progressed, but I still think that this is a solid buy low.
Where's the money? Do we have the handle for? Did Buchanan or Edlows tweet out the handle for this week?
I have it. It's 70% of the tickets and roughly 80% of the early dollars coming in on the Bengals.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I kind of figured I'd be with the public in this take. I mean, Lamarca's right. You look at the long-term form. This is probably too much respect giving to Cincinnati. It should probably be like, if anything, it'd probably be like flipped, right? Like the Raiders should be like +2 or something. But
yeah,
I do think that there's a reason this line was set like this. And yeah, I'll ride with the public here, much to my detriment, just like I did with the Rams last Monday night. But
both of these teams, the Raiders and the Bengals, are 4-5 against the spread this season. We have a lot of games this week. It's finally come back down to earth. We don't have those inflated spreads. We have 11 games that are a touchdown favorite or less this coming week. So it makes for just to plug the unreasonable odds crew. Those two love teasers. That's kind of where you want to be for teasers, right? You want to have those spreads a little tighter towards 0, makes them a little more appealing.
Yeah. If you're a teaser bettor, do yourself a favor, look up the Wong teaser. Those are the only teasers that you should be betting. The goal of a teaser should be to cross as many key numbers as possible. So you want to take like 8-point favorites and tease them down to 2, because then you're getting 7, you're getting 4, you're getting 3. You want to take small underdogs and tease them up, getting 3, 4, and 7. Like that's the way that you should be building teasers. And you're right. There are a bunch of candidates. The Raiders are one of them. If you are like me and you like the Raiders, they're an excellent teaser piece this week because you can move them from 1.5 to 7.5. You get all those key numbers. So same thing with, the Cowboys. I know that they're a little bit less appealing now with the Amari Cooper news, but I'm just saying from a pure number perspective, they make sense. There's a lot of teams like that this week.
Yep, the Saints-Eagles line moved a point to Philadelphia as a 2.5-point favorite now. That was at 1.5. Alvin Kamara is out again this week, which we actually had this discussion last Friday. Geoff, myself, and Steve Buchanan, we wondered what's the value in Alvin Kamara against the Tennessee Titans. To me, it proved to be pretty valuable, right? Because they had a hard time moving the football. Also, Taysom Hill is questionable, so it might be the Trevor Siemian show once again. I've got one more thought. I promise. I'm not going to do the Kaufman thing and really make this Patriots a Patriot show. But the Patriots won't be a topic now all of next week because they're playing Tennessee next Sunday afternoon, which is a huge game. This is my question. If you want to back the New England Patriots in futures, do you have to do it now because of their upcoming schedule? Home Tennessee, 10 days off, 8 days to prepare for Buffalo Monday Night Football. Then they play the Colts at home. Then they play Buffalo again. Do you have to get the Patriots now if you want full value?
No. The time to do it was weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. True. When they're 2-4
on a little losing streak.
Yeah.
I feel like their value right now is about as high as it's been all season, or their perception is as high as it's been all season. $750 to win the AFC You know, they're now viewed essentially on par with a team like the Baltimore Ravens, who's been one of the favorites all season. So I think you wait and hope, if you do like the Patriots, hope that they lose to the Titans, hope that they lose to a team like the Bills, and maybe you can grab a little bit more value there.
Here's how you should play the Patriots. Right now, the only reason they're behind the Ravens, I don't even think it's not even that Vegas thinks they're a worse team than the Ravens. It's that the Ravens are probably in a way better spot to win their division, right? The Patriots are behind in their division, so that's why the Ravens obviously have a better chance of getting home field advantage in the first round. If you want to play the Patriots right now, you bet them to win the AFC East, okay? Because they have.
I was going to go there.
Yeah, and they're plus 250, and I'm not even saying you should do it, but if you want to bet them today, that's a better bet than getting them in the conference or the Super Bowl. Well, the Super Bowl is probably not going to change that much, but Mark is right. The way to play them long term for the long term futures, they got two tough games coming up. I think they'll beat the Titans, but are they going to beat the Titans and then the Bills? Like, I think the Bills probably getting them in a good spot coming off a tough game. So I would rather wait and see how this Patriots rest of the season lays out. Get them after a loss. If they lose the division, you're going to get them at way better odds. Because the sentiment will go down. You'll probably see them more around in the maybe even in like the 4-digit range again.
It's a good point. So maybe you wait, regardless of what happens against Tennessee, maybe you wait for that Buffalo game. Say they lose it, then you figure, well, Buffalo, all they got to do is win out, beat them again. Buffalo's got that 1-0 edge as far as the 2-game season series. And now the Patriots have to chase, right?
I think that's a pretty good number you're getting for the division too. I mean, there's not that much between these two teams. I know they have Josh Allen, but defensively, they're both solid. I would personally just wait and maybe you grab like a small piece of them now for like the conference and then see what happens. But I do like the Patriots. But the AFC is also just like it's a mess. Wide open, man. So it's hard to get really bullish on any of these teams because it is a crapshoot.
So we'll go back to this week. I just wanted to make sure we, trying to go a little chronological, but didn't want to miss out on that. I wanted your thoughts on how you want to look at a futures bet for New England after now 10 days off. They play the Titans. That should be a great game next week. So, Lamarca, to your point, I think the Raiders if you want to back the Cowboys this week, I think you should thank the Raiders quite a bit, right? So are we overvaluing how good Kansas City was last Sunday night? Cowboys, to me, even though Amari Cooper, which it's been reported, he is unvaccinated, he will be out not only Sunday's game against Kansas City, but Thursday's game against the Raiders. So those two teams will actually face off, the Cowboys and the Raiders, on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. The number hasn't moved. It's still at 2.5. Michael Gallup, second game back. CeeDee Lamb, of course, has been a weapon. Geoff, I think you've had this topic during the week on the sweat, but how do we look at this game now? Are the Chiefs like, should they be more than 2.5, or should this be closer to a pick 'em?
No, I feel like with Cooper being out, like Cooper shouldn't move the line too much. Gallup's out, but I do feel like it's worth something. But the thing about this game is, I think there was a good argument that before Cooper was ruled out, that the Cowboys were probably not getting enough respect. So I think it should have been closer to a pick 'em. With Cooper out, I think it changes a little bit. I mean, I think Dallas to win this game is going to need to pass the ball. The Chiefs have been a little bit better against the run, something that people may be overlooking a little bit. And like I said, I think Dak is going to have to win this game for them ultimately, and I think that can happen. But I think this line is pretty much correct right now. It's probably a line I'm going to look to stay off. If anything, I might would dabble in the Chiefs. I still feel like the sentiment got so low with the Chiefs that we really we got a great line on them last week against Vegas. And yep. I don't know if it's back to full power. I think that if the Chiefs this was last year, and even if Dallas is playing this good, I think the Chiefs would be bigger favorites here. I think they'd be 3.5. So maybe you could even make an argument either way. This is a game I'm just going to kind of sit back and watch, to be honest. If anything, there's probably maybe a little bit of value in Dallas because they are a pretty good football team right now. But this is one I don't know. It's hard to know where the Chiefs are exactly at. And then the Cooper thing with Dallas has kind of thrown me off them a little bit. So I'm kind of neutral on this game, on this line, anyways, I should say.
You have a thought, Lamarca?
Yeah, I like the Chiefs quite a bit. I think I am a big believer that we have not really seen the best from the Chiefs yet this year.
Mhm.
And there's been a lot of concern about their defense, but if you look at the last 5 weeks,
Yeah, they've been
14
better.
to the Raiders, 7 to the Packers, 17 to the Giants, 13 to the football team. Like, they've played a lot better on that side of the ball. Again, they only allowed 27 to the Titans. Like, I say only 27. 27 is a lot, but it's also not like a huge alarming factor when you have Patrick Mahomes on your sideline.
Well, and they got down
there.
in that game very early, so they actually kind of kept them at 27 for a while in that game.
And that game was
Right.
like more about Mahomes' mistakes than the defense.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
problem with the Chiefs, the bigger problem recently has been the offense. And I have no concerns about their offense long term. The Cowboys recently lost Randy Gregory. He's been one of their best pass rushers all year, one of the best pass rushers in football. They just beat the Falcons 43-3. Who cares? The Falcons stink. We all saw that last night.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs are really good. I have some Chiefs exposure long term. I was kind of buying them while other people were selling.
Mhm.
I think that the Chiefs are, at least in my eyes, they're still legitimate contenders for a championship. And this line is saying that they're even with the Cowboys on a neutral field. I don't think I agree with that. I like the Chiefs at less than a field goal. And I would play that for sure.
3-7 against the spread, but as we've come to find out, their records against the spread now going back to last year, the numbers are coming back more down to earth because I think folks are realizing that everyone gives Kansas City now their best game. Some of these numbers have been super inflated, and it's come back down to earth a bit.
This is another one would like intro. Like, what's the handle on this one? People back on the sheet?
58% Cowboys from a tickets perspective, 66% dollars. So pretty a slight lean dollar-wise to the Cowboys, but yeah, for sure. Like, the Chiefs are not a overly public team. Like,
No,
last
not anymore.
year,
Not right now.
Folks are over it. Yeah.
you couldn't make the Chiefs minus 2.5 against anybody last year. They would have gotten 90% of the bets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just looking at Dallas' schedule, this is and look, it's not a big ask. They play in the NFC East, but this is their biggest test of the season. The Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you could argue at Minnesota with Cooper Rush, that's a quality win. But this is the game I think you circle on the calendar. Then they play the Charge. Oh, they opened the season with Tampa. I guess that was a pretty big test. But at this point in the year, this is their biggest game of the year outside of their opener, I think. So we'll find out what they're made of in a 4:30 window. I've got a thought here on the Cardinals. What do we feel about the Cardinals? What's going on here? Like, do they think Lamarca? This reeks of like NBA load management with this team.
Yeah,
Does it not? They're 8-2.
Swami hat. I'm predicting Kyler Murray sits again this week.
You actually do. Okay, good, because they're 8-2. They're tied with Green Bay. You have a chance at the bye. You get one. That's it. Hopkins has already been ruled out. I don't want to make this a topic of me questioning guts and heart and manlyhood, but I'm like, who does this team think they are? They're not the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
You can
I'm
look at
just
it
saying,
both ways, right? Because yes, the bye matters and home field advantage matters, but none of that matters if you don't have 100% Kyler Murray. Like, if Kyler's not at full strength, this team's not winning anything.
Right.
And they have their bye next week. I think if he is anywhere less than 100%, just sit him. Like, Seattle hasn't played that well anyway. I mean, this line would certainly move if it was going to be Colt McCoy again. Seattle would become favored by at least a field goal or so, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But getting Kyler healthy is priority A, B, and C for this team, especially since you're already sitting out DeAndre Hopkins. Like, I think he sits. It's just my guess. I have no sources, nothing like that. But it just logically makes too much sense for him to take another week off.
What do you think, Geoff? I'm still lost on this.
The Seahawks were such a good bet at +3 at the beginning of the week because this is exactly like, I mean, we all saw this coming. I mean, we all knew like they're just going to wait till the end and it's a good chance. And now Hopkins is ruled out. And the thing is, like, the Rams lost last week too. So there's even less pressure for the Cardinals now to start them. I mean, I think I personally actually wouldn't even mind Murray to start because I still like Seattle in this spot. I'm not saying Seattle's a great team, but they're better at home. Their defense has been better at home. They've actually really picked it up against the rush lately too, which is good. And that's just going to force a non 100% Murray to be back there more. Maybe have to scramble more. So, you still got Russell Wilson on the other side. I think as long as you're getting plus money on the money line in Seattle, I would just hammer it, to be honest. Still one of my favorite spots. Yeah. I think this is a team that's just like, let's just get to the bye. We'll get healthy. We'll finish off the division after, but this is going to be a tough one for them on the road at Seattle, regardless of who starts a quarterback.
I'll just say
couple quick trends.
Yeah, please.
Russell Wilson in his career, 6-3 against the spread as a home underdog. And this one I really like. Russell Wilson, 27-14-4 against the spread following a loss.
27-14.
Bet good quarterbacks, man. I say it a lot on this.
Good quarterbacks off a loss.
Yep.
Excellent spread bets. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And that's a team that didn't score any points last week. Was that the first time did I hear a stat last week on the broadcast?
Yeah.
First time Russ has been shut out?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, it would shock me if it wasn't, to be honest.
Oh, and bingo, we have an update. Kyler Murray, Colt McCoy, both questionable for Week 11 against the Seahawks. Courtesy of
that's
DK.
right. Who's the third stringer? Like John
Traveler?
Who is the third? Let's find out.
Traveler.
Traveler. Oh, the Strapmeister.
Hey, I played him in
from,
preseason DFS at times this year.
It's like a fullback.
Oh, look, he had a fumble last week. Jeez.
Oh, man. I think we'd all need to go bet the Seahawks.
So do you play this guy, or do you play David Blah, who is probably going to play
Mr. Blau, David Blau.
Blah, whatever. But he's probably going to be.
It's Mr. Blau.
He's probably going to be Blah this week.
Blau.
Jared Goff.
I got to tell you,
Jared Goff is doubtful. Go ahead.
The fact that has become like not a thing anymore makes me just so happy. It makes me sad, but it makes me happy. There used to be a time when it was like, oh, this quarterback's priced at the minimum and he's going to start.
Yeah.
Do we have to use him on our cash game teams this week? And I was like, no, you never have to play David Blau.
After like 10 times of people starting Sean Mannion, the man Sean Mannion, and getting like 1 point. Yeah, I think people finally figured it out. It's a dumb play.
All right. Fine. Sorry, David.
I don't mind Mr. Blau though. He'll run a little bit.
That said, Blau in a GPP. No,
yeah,
never.
See, there it is. Jared Goff is
Blau and Khalif Raymond stacks.
Khalif Raymond, Holy Cross Crusader. Khalif Raymond, College of the Holy Cross. Very good return, man. Someone here might have called his games a couple years ago. Anyway, Lions are now 12.5-point dogs. They were at 10.5, so it's moved a little bit. Jared Goff does mean something.
Yeah,
I guess.
Honestly, my friend earlier this week asked me, how many points do you think Jared Goff's worth? I said, I don't know, 2. So I
there you go.
Vindicated
2 points. Jeff, you have a follow-up thought on your Packers? They're only a point now, a point favorite. That's juicy. I would lean Green Bay in this spot too. But Kirk Cousins, Lamarca, I like to say this, Kirk Cousins, different man at 1 o'clock. I
got to tell you, I have been on the Vikings like all season. They're better than their record indicates. They covered for me in Vegas last week. They were one of the teams that I had on the road against the Chargers. But I don't know. I feel like only getting 1 point against the Packers might even I'm a little bit scared to take the Vikings at that price.
It's a ludicrous line. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't even think the Vikings are that bad. But this is pretty much all you had to know. So entering this season, and this game is basically a pick'em, right? Kirk Cousins' record against teams that finish with a winning record, and Green Bay is going to finish with a winning record this year, is 7-35. It's 7-35. He's got a 0.1, and I think it's actually worse this year. I think it actually may have gone down. So if you want to back the Vikings, like, go ahead, be my guest. The only reason one reason this line is down too is because of Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones probably means like less than a point. They have AJ Dillon, who's like looking like the next coming of, Jonathan Taylor / Derrick Henry out there. The Packers are a good team, man. I think this disrespectful. The Packers win this game. They still up the division. this is a big game for them. They want to stay in the lead. They want to get ahead of Arizona. Yeah, I'll take the Packers here and pick them for sure. And I'm not even saying that the Vikings are bad. I think it's a little disrespectful to the Packers.
I knew I saw that stat because you were barking back at Mr. Kirk Cousins himself, Reed Fowler.
Reed made this silly argument that Kirk Cousins should have been deserves to be an elite quarterback or something earlier in the year. Anyways, I had to put him in his place. It hurt me, but I had to do it.
Good job. Any other games here we want to discuss? Any passionate thoughts for any of these other games? We've hit quite a few.
I really like Miami.
Yeah.
Miami's defense is another defense who is really coming on. They're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's secondary. I think Miami could win this game with 3 picks, a couple pick sixes or something. Xavier Howard's playing better. Their rookie safeties are playing well. Yeah, I'm all about Miami, man. And
it's one of those lines where you're like, all right, this has got to be a trap, right?
Yeah.
It's like it has to be a trap.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to walk into it because the Jets are just so bad. And I love Brian Flores. I know the Dolphins, it hasn't gone how they've wanted it to go this year, but he's a second half coach. His numbers over the second half of the year are great. I could see the Dolphins just turning this one into a laugher.
I think that's what happens.
So there's
the line hasn't moved. It really hasn't moved. I think it may be started at 3, but it's not creeping up yet. Maybe by kickoff gets to 4.5 or something. But
there's a negative connotation then of Joe Flacco starting this game. What is? I haven't read up more on this, but what is the thought process behind that?
The thought process is that Zach Wilson's not healthy enough to play, and Mike White threw 4 interceptions last week.
Yeah,
it's a good team. What did they expect he was going to do?
True.
The Mike White era, baby. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Joe Flacco.
4-1 out.
Maybe they want Flacco to play so they don't ruin the kids. They don't want to ruin White's confidence. So, hey, Joe, go out there. We're going to try and get a top 5 pick again.
He's basically, you're right. He's just like a punching bag.
Keep it close for a little bit. Then you can just do whatever. We'll pay you. Take care of you.
Throw up some Flacco balls, baby. Let's go.
We do have about 10 minutes left. We can cross over to the NBA and the NHL. We have a great audience on Twitch that's asking about the NBA. Lamarca, do you have a same game parlay? We'll keep it right here on the sports book. We can also dive in DFS, NFL, NBA. Geoff, you have NHL thoughts we can certainly discuss, but any same game parlay action, Lamarca, if you had to suggest one to the people for tonight? A lot of injuries, a lot of stars out tonight.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm just going to come up with one right on the fly, like a true professional.
Okay.
Where are the Dallas Mavericks at? Show me the Dallas Mavericks.
The Mavs. They're at the Suns.
That was the game I was looking at, but I want to hear your take first now.
Give me the Mavs getting 8.5.
All right. I was going to go on the Suns, but I don't know. But I don't even know what's going on.
Give me Jalen Brunson over assists.
We're scrolling.
Doncic is still out.
These are points.
Oh, right. Assist. Sorry. Yep. Jalen Brunson. What do you want?
Give me over 5.5 assists.
Plus 160.
Nope, we're not done, baby.
Ooh.
And then give me Tim Hardaway Jr. over on points.
Tim Hardaway. Let's find Tim. There he is. Hey, Timmy. Give me a number.
Give me 18 plus for Timmy.
Oh, plus 340.
Yeah, I dig it.
Okay, what do we got? So we got them to cover.
We got
Dallas
the cover.
Plus 8.5. Jalen Brunson over 5.5 assists. Tim Hardaway Jr.
Jalen Brunson
18 plus
had, I want to say, NBA.com credited him with 18 potential assists in their last game. So I like that. Tim Hardaway Jr., nice usage bump with Doncic off the court this season. So the part that I feel the most shaky about there is them actually covering the spread. But if they do that, I think that the other guys hold up their end of the bargain. So a nice little correlated parlay, I think, there.
Well, and you know something, too? They only lost by 7 the other night. I'm sure the spread was double digits, like 10 points. That's moved the other direction. Lamarca, you're probably aware of this. This was something I researched a little bit before the season started in the NBA. The team that fails, the team that wins the first of these back-to-backs, the schedule's formatted like this now. I mean, it's happened before, but it's really formatted like this because of COVID. They're trying to limit the travel. So both of these games are in Phoenix. They played, the other night, 2 nights ago? They played Wednesday night. The team that lost the first of the 2 of the back-to-backs against each other, they cover like 2/3 of the time. There's a stat like that. That happened last year. I'm not sure where that number's at this year. So my point being, Dallas did cover the other day. So I guess that defeats my whole spiel, but they did lose. And Luka was out. I don't know. Just saying, like they did. Maybe Dallas, even though they did cover the other day, 8.5 is still pretty steep, but no Luka.
I ride with the Mavs.
Okay.
I stan Jalen Brunson. This is a Jalen Brunson stan account right now.
Quick question. I put this in our little show rundown. So Jalen Brunson, Kristaps Porzingis, Hardaway, all the Mavericks, their prices are going up. How do you feel about that from a DFS standpoint?
Yeah, I still think that they're all too cheap. I mean, the issue is that there's now a bunch of different values to choose from. The DraftKings pricings tonight is super weird because like the top studs are insanely expensive, right? Giannis is 12.3, Jokic is 12, Harden is 11.2. Like these price tags are getting very like astronomical. So, like I have no problem paying 6-7 for a guy like Jalen Brunson when you can compare him to some of these high price players. So I think building a balanced lineup tonight makes a lot of sense. You can probably go with one of these overpriced studs just because Golden State has given us, so many value plays to choose from. But for the most part, I think you want to build your lineup out with some of these like mid-range type players who are going to give you better value, but maybe not as much just raw point production.
Real quick, it feels like LeBron might play tonight in Boston. Any interest? You're staying away.
Pass.
Yeah, he's too expensive. It looks like 10,800. Anthony Davis probable. 3 big names right there: Doncic, Curry, Durant, all out. Draymond Green's out. Geoff, you're not off the hook, so take the sip of your coffee. Let's go to the NHL. We only have a couple minutes left, so
let's do it. There's only 2 games, so it won't take long.
Okay, what do you feel passionate about tonight in the NHL?
So 2 games, 2 good teams versus 2 bad teams. We got the Avalanche, Kraken. We got the Canucks and Jets. I mean, I think you could definitely think about parlaying both favorites here. The Jets are coming on off a back-to-back, played in Edmonton last night, but I mean, the Canucks are overtly terrible in every fashion. The only reason the Jets are only minus 105 is they're starting a backup, but their backup is Eric Comrie, who's actually quite good. Colorado is definitely like undervalued here. They're undervalued because Nathan McKinnon is out, but they've outscored their opponents 17-5 in the last 3 nights. Minus 140. I definitely that's like the bet for me. Like that's my favorite. You can think about taking on the money line too, but
is
I
it
think
because
Colorado
the Kraken are just such a cool name?
Their goalies just, I don't know what happened to Philip Grubauer, but he's terrible.
You like them both on the puck line?
No, I was saying you could take them on the puck line.
Okay.
I like them both on the money line.
Okay.
I think the Jets Canucks game has a chance to be a lot tighter. Again, Jets coming in off a back-to-back. It's always a little bit hit or miss how a team's going to play. But I think the Avalanche money line is like where the real value is at. This team just seems to be a little bit undervalued because McKinnon is out, but like Nazem Kadri's playing well, Mikko Rantanen's playing center, and it's going well. I just don't know. And they've got all the defensemen healthy. So that's really like the main target there for me. That's probably just like straight up. I would just play that.
Okay.
Geoff
From an
makes
injury
a lot of good
standpoint,
points, but if you bet the Kraken, you can say stuff like "Unleash the Kraken."
there's like a meme. Yeah.
You can tweet at me. The Kraken has been unleashed at you, Geoff, after the Kraken win this like 5-0 or something.
Be sure to follow the Fantasy Grind on Twitter. He's now putting out the NHL splits throughout the course of the year.
I am.
Do you
I
have
don't know
those
where they
handy,
are
Geoff?
today. No, I don't.
Oh, I put him on the spot. He doesn't have them handy.
Well, they
I
don't.
can give 'em to
They're
you.
not. They're,
Let
give
Edlo
it
do
to
it.
me. It's not my fault.
Edlo probably has.
Money line right now. Let's see. We've got Winnipeg getting 54% of the bets, 80% of the dollars over on the DraftKings Sportsbook. And for the Kraken, we've got 86% of the tickets and 88% of the dollars are on the Avalanche.
Okay. Bet against the public. Take the Kraken.
Unleash them.
Geoff, you mentioned the Avalanche injuries. Anyone you like tonight to maybe score a goal who wouldn't normally?
That's a good question. Let's see here.
Thank you.
Logan
know the
O'Connor's
answer.
played pretty good. Logan O'Connor. Can always go to my boy, Logan.
There he is.
Oh, way
But
down.
he's
That's
he's been playing a more significant role for Colorado. Andre Burakovsky, never like a terrible target when there's injuries up front either. He won't get as good odds on him, but again, we've got a weak goalie. He gets more power play time when there's injuries up front. Those are two guys I don't mind. I think you might find a slightly better value with like the Jets players tonight to score a goal too. If you go there to the other game, there we go. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't even mind taking some of the Jets big guys here, like Pierre-Luc Dubois at plus 235, shooting the puck a lot. I think he's averaging like over 4 shots on net over his last 5 or 6 games. That's probably where I would go. Again, playing a ton on the power plays. He's really turned his career around this year, really firing with that top line. I like that top line, that top power play. So Dubois, again, he's playing alongside Kyle Connor, who's plus 135. I don't even hate that, but I think getting over plus 200 with Pierre-Luc right there is good.
All right, and just to clarify, the two favorites tonight on the slate in NHL would be the Avalanche and the Jets. You like both of those teams?
I do. Again, I feel like they're both just being a little bit underrated. Canucks are like the worst team in the NHL. The Jets, the only reason they're not like bigger favorites is they're starting Eric Comrie, but like I said, he's good. And the Avalanche getting undervalued because there's no McKinnon, but they've been absolutely on fire offensively without him. So
okay.
I think it's to be true, but I think you're just, your other alternative is to back two of the worst defensive teams squads. It's not really like screaming underdog plays to me tonight.
All right, real quick before we go, Gary Payton II getting the start tonight for Steph Curry for the Warriors. He's out, and then Toscano Anderson, minimum 3,000. He's starting tonight.
I mean, can we just say all-time great nickname right there? Gary Payton was the glove, Gary Payton Jr., or the second, the mitten. Love it.
All right, that's a show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. For Eamon and Andrew behind the scenes, Geoff, Matt, you both have a great weekend. And see all of you Monday. It's Thanksgiving week here in the States, Geoff, next week. But a little short week for us next week. We have a short week. We will hopefully not fall on our faces on our short week like the Falcons did last night. And we'll give you the best content possible here at DraftKings. We have The Sweat is on Sunday. Don't forget Sunday show at noon Eastern. Noon Eastern for 1 hour leading up to Sunday kickoff, 1 o'clock for the Week 11 Sunday slate. Join us then on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thank you all so much for hanging out. You have a great weekend, and best of luck with your lineups and bets. Bye.